Hey there, welcome to CNT Collectibles MC. Hope you're doing well. All right, we'll continue on with our preseason review with the shortstops. I have their tier rankings up for today. The data is from Fangraphs, so use the depth charts system. And that's a combination of their Steamer and Zips projection systems, and with playing time assigned by the Fangraphs staff. And then we'll weight that according to. Then we'll run the numbers on Roto, run the numbers points based, kind of the generic league formats. And then we'll weight heavily towards the like 60-40 or 70-30, 70-30, I think it is, in favor of the points-based system. And then we'll just kind of go from there and group these guys into different tiers. You're splitting hairs on some of them. They're really close together here. So the tiers work out just fine. This is a re-upload. I thank you to the 7 people that saw this when I originally put it up Friday. I was missing a slide somewhere in the editing process. I deleted something accidentally. So here we are again. So let's just get started here. We'll start off with I don't like the term bust, but maybe a player that's not going to return the value that's expected on draft day. So O'Neal Cruz, who has excellent power, one of the highest or the highest exit velocity in the league last year, but he also sports a 35% strikeout rate. Pitchers are not afraid to challenge him with fastballs. In 2021, they threw him fastballs about 27% of the time. Last year, that ramped up to about 40% of the time. They just go after him because of the swing and miss. And when he connects, he connects. But doesn't happen at a high enough clip to return top 10 type value or anything like that. So in points leagues, he ranks about 27th because of the strikeouts. In roto leagues, about 23 because he does help in a couple of categories at the shortstop position. So 23 home runs. These are the projected stats for 2023, 76 and 67 RBIs. So not the most high-powered offense in the world, and so that holds him back. But he's currently the 8th shortstop off the board. So be careful if you are a long-term O'Neal Cruz believer. Then during the season, as he perhaps gets left behind, then maybe that's when you pick up some of his cards. So all right, 5th tier: Xander Bogarts, Tommy Edman, Carlos Correa. All excellent options at the position. They each bring something a little bit different here. So double-digit home runs into the 20s for Bogarts and Correa. Bogarts is going to a very unfavorable park. So from Boston to San Diego, not going to help things too much. I think the average is a little bit light. He can certainly find the grass, find safe spots for his hits. Not a lot in the stolen base category. Tommy Edman does help in the stolen base category, so that helps him in the Roto League. Carlos Correa just consistent across the board. Excellent defense, which we don't care about for the most part in fantasy. But as a Twins fan, I deeply care about. But in a decent offense there. So the run and RBI, fairly similar. Edman hitting at the top of the order. Not a lot of RBI opportunities here. So your best stick overall might be Correa with a 134 weighted runs created, 5.5 wins because of the platinum glove there. In points leagues, Correa does favors pretty well, going 9th overall because he can fill up the stat line. He doesn't strike out an egregious amount or anything like that. In Roto, because he doesn't have the stolen bases, he gets dropped quite a bit here. He's currently going as the 19th shortstop overall. A lot of these, I think, are Roto drafts, and so he should fare better in points league. So I think you get him around that top 10 or a little bit higher. You're probably doing all right there. Bogarts, again, I think you see him exceed his projections, at least in the average area there in that offense. They'll be able to fill up the stat line. Tier 4. Bobby Witt Jr. and Corey Seeger here. So a couple of interesting names people are looking for. Big things out of Bobby Witt Jr. He does bring a lot of stolen bases. So in Roto leagues, he does go 4th overall because of that category, and he's able to do enough other things: double-digit home runs, run RBI. Runs an RBI look to be a fair number there, but really is going to help you in that stolen base category, probably leading the position. Corey Seager, people are looking for him to improve after there's some removal of the shift this year, and so he had an expected batting average of around 280 last year. We're looking for regression the back half of last season, and we got some. He wasn't going to make up for the entire season, but that's probably where he's at, the 270, 280. So I think that's a fair number. 25 home runs, run RBI good, no stolen bases, so that drops him in Roto leagues a little bit. But these are pretty nice options in points leagues. Witt is currently going 2nd off the board at shortstop and also at third base. We looked at him there, so be careful about that a little bit. You may not be able to get he's a fine option, but may not be able to return the value if you take him too high here. 3rd tier: Lindor and Tatis Jr. Tatis, another one. He'll have shortstop eligibility, but he'll be in the outfield with Xander Bogarts taking over his position. But we'll look at him in both and just see where he ranks, and ranks pretty well. This is really your probably one of your best players at the position, if not the league overall. But he's going to miss some time heading into the season, and so that's accounted for here. Otherwise, you could make a case for him being number one, and you wouldn't be too far off base there. So Lindor bringing a 250-ish average with 25 home runs, a handful of stolen bases, runs an RBI in that 90 area, which is positive. That Mets offense should help him out there. Weighted runs created 118, so very good stick. And his defense helps with that wins above replacement overall. Points in row, top five option, 5-ish option. Tatis Jr., his projections baseline are basically MVP here. 274 average, 36 home runs, 158 weighted runs created. I mean, people wind up with that. You don't get projected at that, basically. So 5 wins above replacement. If he was playing a full season, then he'd probably be, number one overall. But, he'll slide down just a little bit because of time missed. But once he comes in, pound for pound, probably the best shortstop in the league. Tier 2 wonder, Franco and Bo Bichette. A couple of nice young bats here, 280 in the average range. Bichette with a little bit more power and some stolen bases. That offense will give him some more opportunity for runs and RBI. Franco just a touch behind that, but Franco doesn't strike out. So he walks more than he strikes out. In points leagues, favor him, number 2 overall. Roto just a touch below that because he lags in home runs, because he doesn't quite have the steals, and they're not bad or anything like that. But I think he provides some excellent value. So points leagues again, Wander, I think he's being slept on just a little bit, going around 9th overall in some of these leagues. And I think in both points and Roto, he can beat that projection. Bo Bichette, back half of last year, was about one of the best hitters in the game. So not just at the position in the game. If it wasn't for Aaron Judge, you'd be hearing a lot more about Bo Bichette and what he was able to do down the stretch last year. Elite level stick. Near 4.5 wins above replacement, top 5 option at the position, and the top tier is Trey Turner. All right. Since coming into the league in 2016, he's been roughly the second best shortstop in the league, right behind Francisco Lindor. Since 2019, he's been the best in terms of wins above replacement at the shortstop position. Nearly 300 average. You're looking at 100 runs. 81 RBI. The Phillies offense, let's see if they can help him out there, especially when Bryce Harper comes back. Elite level stick, nearly 6 wins above replacement. First in points, first in Roto. The stolen bases, again, depends on what you're doing with what. They're projected to be roughly the same, but I think you tilt towards Trey Turner because he's led in that category. In the past, home runs, nothing to sneeze at. And again, a lot of people are looking for a slowdown, and that's going to happen, especially with speed guys. It just hasn't happened yet. So when it does happen, it's going to be difficult to predict. So that's how that goes. So if he can gradually decline, he can still be a top option for years to come. But this year we'll stick with him at number 1. So that's what I got for you. I hope everything is going well. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.